Hey everyone, welcome back to Science by Asha Mathpal. In my previous session, I have already started with the topic crop production and management. In today's class, we will move ahead in the chapter. So let's begin today's session. Now, from the previous sessions, we have already understood regarding the various agricultural practices. We have started with the preparation of soil, right? So in the preparation of soil, we have seen that we will make the soil ready to accept the seeds. Okay, so the the second step was sowing, right? Then sowing was followed by adding of manure and fertilizers, adding manure and fertilizer, and after that we have understood the irrigation, that is giving water to the crop. Okay, now see, once you are giving, sowing means that is the seed. Now once you have added the manure and you have added the correct amount of the fertilizer and you are giving water, the seed will give you tiny plant or the crop, okay, in general. Now this tiny plant needs to be protected against the weeds and the pest. Now what are weeds? Weeds are simply the unwanted plants. These are unwanted plants. Okay, now we will see that what this line means, unwanted plants. Suppose this is the land, okay, in which the farmer is intended to grow wheat. I am saying wheat here, okay, these are wheat, right? Now the farmer has done the job of placing them at the appropriate distance and appropriate depth. Okay, now with time these seeds will give rise to the tiny plants. Okay, from these seeds the tiny plants will start coming out, right? Now if with time in between these wheat plants some unwanted plants will grow, like if there are certain kinds of grasses which starts growing, okay, so this will become the unwanted plant. This will become the unwanted plant, right? This unwanted plant was not desired by the farmer at all. So this is an undesired plant, right? So this undesired plant, this unwanted plant is called as the weed. Now see the definition. Weeds are the undesirable plants. Understood? They are not grown by the farmer and they grow naturally along with the main crop. Now these plants which are not grown by the farmer and these are the undesirable plants, okay, they need to be removed from the field from time to time. Okay, so this process of removal of weeds from the field or from the farm is called as a weeding technique. Is called as weeding. Okay, weeding can be done in the various ways. Okay, it can be done during the tilling process. Tilling is what? If you remember, during the preparation of soil, okay, we have understood what is a plow. Okay, so the plow goes inside the soil. Okay, it has got a sharp iron end to it. It goes inside the soil, and this plow, as it moves, it makes the soil upside down like this. Okay, so when the plow is moving, okay, the soil goes upside down, and this is called as the tilling, right? Now during the tilling process, when the plow is going upside down, it can uproot the weeds. It can uproot the weeds. Okay, so during tilling also we can remove these weeds and obviously they will get killed. Another is manual method, that is using the hands. With the hands we can pull them out, so that is called as the uprooting technique, or cutting them from time to time. We can use any kind of the sharp edge, okay, device, and we can cut them, or we can use a khurpi. Khurpi goes inside the soil and when we are moving it, it also uproots. So khurpi can also be used for uprooting these undesirable or unwanted plants. And then we are having the seed drills. Okay, seed drills are also having a very sharp teeth like end to it, and when it moves it will give the same effect like the plow. So when it goes inside the soil, it uproots the weeds. Then we can of course use a chemical which is called as a weedicide. So we will understand the weedicide now. Weedicides are what? Weedicides are the chemicals. These are the chemicals. Okay. Now weedicides are chemicals that are used to kill the weeds. Okay, the weedicides are diluted with water to some extent and then they are sprayed in the field. An example is 2,4-D. Now see, the weedicides, okay, which are the chemicals, they are mixed with water. Mixed with water inside a tank, okay, or a cylindrical kind of tank basically. Okay, in some of the pictures or in some kind of the activities in the TV you must have seen that the farmer or certain persons are spraying the weedicides or the pesticides in the field, and at the back they are having a bag kind of cylindrical thing, okay, inside which the weedicide or the chemical is always diluted with water, and then they are having a nozzle which is having a spray here. Sometimes we see a pipe also here, and at the end of the pipe there is a spray, and from there it is sprayed in the field. Okay, now when it is sprayed in the field, the person who is spraying the weedicide or the pesticide should take certain precautions, like they should cover their nose and the mouth with the help of the mask or any kind of the cloth, so that these chemicals will not enter inside the respiratory tract of this person. Okay, otherwise it can cause severe health problems. Okay, starting with vomitish feeling, they can feel that they are having headache. Okay, so such kind of the symptoms can be there, and later on it can lead to, or it can lead towards very higher kind of problems in them. Okay, so yes, spraying of the weedicide may affect the health of the farmer, and therefore they are advised to cover their nose and mouth with a piece of cloth or the mask while spraying these chemicals in the field. Now what is the right time of the weeding? The right time of the weeding is during the vegetative growth. Okay, vegetative growth means when it is in the stage of only development of the stem, leaves and so on. Okay, during the reproductive stage, that is when they are about to give the flowers, fruit and the seeds, during that time weeding should not be done basically. Okay, now we will see more about on the weeding, that why it is necessary. Now see, whatever the farmer is giving in the field, like in the terms of the manure, fertilizer and the water, it is all for the crop. Okay, the farmer intention is this, that it should reach to the crop, okay, not to the weeds. Okay, so if these weeds are allowed to grow along with the crop, then obviously these weeds will also compete with the main crop plants for water, nutrient, space and sunlight. Okay, and if the competition is there, then what will happen? It will give rise to the weak crop. Understood? So they need to be removed from time to time, otherwise they will compete. Now second, some of the weeds may interfere during harvesting. Suppose if we do not remove the weeds, what will happen? These weeds will also become mature, right, and they can also produce seed. Now sometimes what we see, that these seeds are poisonous. Okay, so if we are cutting, we are harvesting. Harvesting is what? Cutting of the mature crop. So suppose if we are cutting the crop, and obviously during the cutting these crops can get mixed with the weeds which are still there in the field, and the seeds of the crop can mix with the seeds of the weed. Okay, and the weed seeds can be poisonous, so it can cause great danger in terms of the human beings also, like to the human beings and to the other animals also. So they should be removed from time to time from the field before they start producing the seeds. Okay, and then next point, that some of the weeds are specific to the insects, like they invite insects in the field, they invite pests in the field, so they should be removed from time to time in the from the field, so that they will not invite these pests or the insects in the field. Because if they will enter inside the field, or if these insects or the pest will keep on entering in the field, it will harm the main crop plant. So they should be removed from time to time from the field. Now we have understood till the weeds, that is the protection from the weeds. Now after some time the crop will become mature, okay, and then it will be cutted, right? So this step of cutting of the mature crop is called as harvesting. So harvesting is what? It is the cutting of the crop after it is mature. Okay, now harvesting can be done using a sickle. Sickle is a very simple kind of instrument. It is having a wooden handle, then there is a small rod, and then there is a curved kind of structure like this. Okay, so it is used to cut the crops. Okay, generally they were used earlier, like it is a very traditional kind of tool, not a very modern kind of tool. Right now we are using the machines, that is the harvester, and we are also using combines. Combines does what? That they not only cut the crop, they also thresh them. Okay, that is threshing is also done by them. Okay, threshing is what? See, the mature grains which we are obtaining, okay, suppose this is the grain. The grain is covered with a very fine thin sheet of the dry leaves, you can say. Very dry covering is there. So the seeds need to be taken out from this covering. This covering is called as chaff. Okay, so from that it should come out. Clear? So threshing is done. Like traditional method of threshing was that taking these cutted crop in the form of a bundle, okay, and then beating it over to a very hard stone. Okay, and what will happen during this action of the beating? The dry flaky outer surface or the leafy surface will break and it will give out the grains. Okay, another technique is winnowing. That is also a very traditional kind of technique. Okay, winnowing is also a very traditional kind of technique of getting the grains out of their chaff, but nowadays it is done using a combine generally. Okay, now after getting these grains, okay, we have to collect them and we will have to store them so that we can supply it to the market, right? So this is one of a very important steps, because a lot or a huge amount of the produce is collected from every part of the country and they need to be properly stored, because this is the important task. Okay, because if seeds are not properly stored, then they might get damaged, and the damaged kind of grains will not get sell in the market, and which will give a very bad impact on the overall economy, right? So they need to be like stored properly. Okay, and the harvested grain needs to be kept safe from moisture, from microorganisms, from rats and from the insects. Okay, generally the farmer does what? That they store the collected grains in the metallic bins, very huge metallic bins they are having, or they are having the jute bags. Okay, but inside the storage houses, they are stored inside the silos and the granaries. Okay, there they are stored, and inside the go downs, the very big structures are there basically, in which we store these grains. There we also spray, okay, the pesticides and all. Okay, and that technique is called as the fumigation technique. This is done at regular intervals of time to keep the pest and the microorganisms or the insects away from the seeds. Okay, now why grain need to be properly sun dried before storing them? Before keeping them inside the metallic bins or the bags or the silos and all, we need to properly dry them, because naturally the grains have got little bit of moisture in them, okay, but not much kind of the moisture should be there. Otherwise what will happen, moisture is a very good condition for the growth of the microorganisms, right? So if the moisture is there and we are not drying the seeds properly, then these microorganisms can grow, okay, and which will damage the grains, right? So harvested seeds should be stored without like without like they should not be stored without drying, because they might get spoiled or by the attack of organism which will make them unfit for the use of germination, okay, or any other kind of use. Sun drying helps in reducing the moisture content, and which will prevent the attack by the insects and from the microbes like bacteria and fungi. So they need to be properly stored, but before storing them we should try to remove little bit of moisture from these grains by sun drying them. Then what are the common practices which we observe in the home, okay, during the storage of the grains? Generally what we see in the home, that nowadays we are having small tablets which keep the pest and insects away from these stored grains. But apart from it, there are some traditional techniques also, like people keep the dried neem leaves, okay, in the container of the grain, so, okay, because neem leaves also repel the insects and the pest. Then we also see the turmeric pieces, that is the whole turmeric piece is also taken and it is kept inside the grains, which will again repel the insects, okay. So these are some traditional and very household techniques. Now the last topic of this chapter is animal husbandry. Animal husbandry is a branch of agriculture where we see that animals are reared, okay, that they are taken care of, okay, giving proper food and getting them vaccinated, then bred, that they are allowed to breed, okay, and they are raised for what? Either we want meat from them, we want eggs from them, we want milk from them, we want other food products like honey and all the uh, cod liver oil from the fishes and all, okay. So there are numerous things which we get from the animals, and when we purposely rear, bred and take care of them, okay, to obtain certain things from them, that is called as the animal husbandry. It has got various branches to it itself, like we are having the pisciculture, okay, and there are very other branches also in it. This topic you will be able to understand in the class 9. This is not a part of class 8. It is only the introductory part is there in the class 8. Okay, so with this we have finished the chapter crop production and management. Please subscribe to my channel and I will see you in my next session. Till then, bye bye.